Here's my issue with this episode. Sal got killed at a christening. I don't know that they deliver mail on Sundays. That's just me. I don't know a christening that didn't happen on a Sunday. So my thing is, I don't know why nobody was suspicious that there was a guy delivering mail on a Sunday. Alright, what it is, what it do, it's your boy Dapper back with another reaction just for you. Now, before we get started with anything, hit that like button, subscribe button, and leave a comment if you're here with me. With this reaction video, we get into episode 2, Raising Kanan season 3, and I'm not gonna lie, they moving, bro. They moving. They doing what they gotta do with this storyline so far. They moving. I have really no gripes with it besides one little thing, but I have really no gripes with this episode. So let's get into it. As you see on the screen, we got Kanan here. Obviously, Kanan, we know he's on his solo mission, and everybody's hoping, you know what I'm saying, we hoping that this season is going to be Kanan's leap into, you know, at least the beginnings of what we know Kanan to be, because obviously we know his end story. So it all starts off with Kanan, at least in this episode, where, you know what I'm saying, he's still on the lookout, trying to find some money. And with him trying to find some money, he's like, yo, if anybody moving anything, I'm on it. I'm asking questions. I want to know names, all this, you know what I'm saying? He finds the homie next door is doing a legal business, a legal courier business, you know what I'm saying? And with a legal courier business, you can move anything, you know what I'm saying? And Kanan, that already sparked in Kanan's head. So he turned down the initial offer to work for him, and then pulled up on dude and said, yo, come work for me. Now that's gangster. And then he posed it as, you know, come work with me till we work together. But for real, it's a come work with me type for me kind of thing. On some, you know, moving weed type thing. I don't know. I mean, this is, I guess the 80s, 90s or whatever. So I don't know. I guess weed was that lucrative back then. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you could become that big of a, you know what I'm saying, plug these days doing that. But I guess back then, moving weed would get you some good bread. So shout out to him. He finally get to his bag on his own. And he probably got pushed in that direction by Rock, who pulled up on him. You know what I'm saying? We'll get into Rock later, but who pulled up on him, trying to get him back in the crib, you know what I'm saying, back in her good graces with a car. Shout out to Kanan, because I knew he wouldn't fold. I knew they tried to make it look like he would fold. I knew he would not fold because Kanan's a real one. So, you know what I'm saying, of course he a little confused, he gonna make mistakes, but he gonna stand on business. And he's standing on business. Mom, I'm not going back in the house. I'm not moving back in with my mother. You know what I'm saying? So he not moving back in. And I respect it. Now Rock, obviously, Rock, we see this episode begins as Rock and Neek, where it pretty much left us with Rock and Neek. And, you know, she seems to be, you know, really into Neek, you know what I'm saying, caring about his protection. We see that they get kidnapped by Stefano, I think it's Stefano. And, you know what I'm saying, and all she kind of cares about is like, yo, like, deal with me, don't deal with him. So that means she's locked in with Neek at that point. If you care about what happens to him, then it's like, you know what I'm saying, you care about Neek. And it's sad because I liked Symphony from season prior, but like, I guess, you know, maybe he had other things he was doing in his actual, the kid person who plays it, they had other things doing because that's why they wrote him off. But I like Symphony. But either way, we know she's rocking with Unique, and basically, because the reason she got kidnapped, we know, is because Stefano was like, yo, look, we need you because our politics, you got to kill Sal. Sal been messing up. We got to get rid of Sal, but we can't do it with our own hands because, you know what I'm saying, we can't get our hands dirty, so you got to do it. And obviously Rock is not with it, but Rock has no choice but to do it because she worked for Stefano. Now, with that being the case, you know what I'm saying, she's trying to tell people, look, I'm done with the game, We discussed last season, you know what I'm saying, last episode reaction, that it's Rock. Rock only knows how to hustle. So even if she's done with the game, she's not going to ever be done with the game itself of hustling. But, you know what I'm saying, she's like, yo, once I do this for you, we done. Stefano's like, all right, bet. We'll squash it at that. And then we obviously, you know what I'm saying, we see her pull up on Kanan with the car. We know how that go. Failed attempt at being a good mom, because that's not what a good mom does. You don't try to buy your son back, dummy. Lastly, Rock showed off her gangster, because we know Juliana's still out there, and Juliana's moving like she's comfortable. Like, Juliana moving like we ain't see her like Rock was helping you out in the beginning. So I don't understand why this tide has turned for Juliana, because Rock was helping you. And even the plug, I forgot the dude's name, but you know what I'm saying, Juliana's cousin is like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, you need to be scared of Rock. And apparently Rock speaks Spanish now and all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's his power. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna nitpick. Apparently Rock speaks Spanish and all that kind of stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Juliana better look out, because I'm not gonna lie. If anything, Rock will stay in the game if it mean getting rid of Juliana. You know, especially if she step out of line one more time. So, look out for that. Alright, so Neek, I mean, Neek got a little, you know what I'm saying? Neek gonna be Neek, and that's pretty much gonna be what he is. That's always gonna be what I'm gonna say every time we talk about Neek. He gonna be Neek. You know what I'm saying? You see, he come back, he gets kidnapped with Rock, obviously, and he's mouthing off, you know what I'm saying, regular unique stuff. Took a good mean right to the face, ate it, and you know what I'm saying, he was Gucci. You know what I'm saying? That he showed he had some, you know, moxie for Stefano, and actually put him in good graces, and he ends up meeting up with Stefano later. But before that, he goes back to the crib. His girl is basically telling him, like, look, Ronnie is a weirdo, he's a creep, you leaving me at home with this dude, get me out of here. And he's like, yo, Ronnie just quiet, he cooling, he good, he just got out, he gonna be weird, he always been weird, blah blah blase. And he like, yo, we gonna be good, I'm about to get Ronnie up out of here in a few. And she telling him, you know what I'm saying, sometimes you gotta listen to the women, man. Like sometimes, you know what I'm saying, when they say they're uncomfortable, you gotta be uncomfortable. You gotta change that, because you can't have women uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, he meets up with Stefano at his fish store, you know what I'm saying, and tries to broker a deal. And obviously Stefano lets him know, like, look, it don't go through me exactly. Like, yeah, you could come work with me, but working with me, you gotta go through the different necessary channels. So, you know what I'm saying, we gonna see Neek next episode trying to go through the necessary channels to get to, you know, working with, you know, the mob, basically. So we're gonna see how that works, because again, I think Neek is still doing all this, even messing with Rock and all that, just on some, like, you know, he's trying to boost his position, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that goes. But I do think he does have feelings for Rock, but I think it's nothing better than the money, though. And just as the man of the hour, Stefano. We saw a lot of him. Yep. Wait. Boom. So yeah, we see a lot of Stefano this episode. Big Stefano episode. You know what I'm saying? We basically went over his storyline already through you know, Neek and Rock. Obviously, it's his call to kill Sal. And you know what I'm saying, that got done, and we'll get to it, you know, talking about it later in a couple seconds. But you know what I'm saying, just we see him being the guy. He's clearly the boss. He's the most powerful on the show right now as far as calling the shots, because you know what I'm saying, nobody's really trying to step on his toes. Even Sal's not stepping on Stefano's toes, even though they shouldn't step on each other's toes because of their code, quote unquote. But you know what I'm saying, he seems to be the guy that's like, yo, like, I'm the OG for real. And you know what I'm saying, everybody trying to stay on his good side, nobody trying to overstep, and that's telling. You know what I'm saying, he's the reason Rock can't leave the game until, you know, Sal's gone. And we'll see how that actually turns out when, you know, next episode, when the deed is done and word gets back to him, and we'll see if he really leaves Rock alone or not. But overall, you know, I'm impressed with the way he's able to maneuver and, you know, have, you know, people that we deem powerful, and Rock and Neek was once powerful. You know, he was moving his own thing in the South Side. Now he kind of just like, yo, yeah, y'all kind of listen to me now, and that's just that. It is what it is. All right, Marvin. I mean, Marvin, again, we know Marvin's going through a little bit of a metamorphosis into this new version of Marvin, you know, that, you know, is trying to do the right thing, but, you know, he still knows the game he's in. So he's out with Lou, they partying it up, Lou crashing out, we get to Lou in a second, but, you know what I'm saying, but through that, he ends up finds some guys peeping him, you know what I'm saying, so he obviously strapped up, and he go to the bathroom, the guys follow him, he ready for, you know, staying on business, he ready to, you know what I'm saying, let it go if it gotta get to that. But them guys really just fiends, and they just like, yo, I just thought you look like yourself. They just stereotyped him, just like, yo, you look like you sell coke, we want to buy coke. And good for Marvin, he does. So, you know what I'm saying, he gave him the page number, hooked that up, and then, you know what I'm saying, later on, set up with Rock, you know what I'm saying, look, I just want to sell my what we got left of the stash, I want to sell that out in Manhattan. Rock like, go ahead, as long as it don't blow up, you know what I'm saying? Don't cross nobody corners, such so on and so forth. So Marvel got to go ahead. Here's my issue with this episode. Now, obviously, Marv got the assignment from Rock to kill Sal, because obviously Rock not getting her own hands dirty. That's never been her thing. Obviously, we see Marv reach out to Lou to be a lookout driver. Lou not trying to do it because it's for Rock. Cool. So he ends up back with Wheelchair Homie. I keep forgetting. I don't know the dude's name, but I didn't think he'd even pop back up this quickly. But seems he's gonna be involved in Marvin's antics. I like it because he seemed like a guy that do what he gotta do. He shut up and just take the money. He move on. Now here's my issue. We see Marv go through the struggle of Robin gets the mail truck. My thing is this christening. I mean, granted, I wasn't born back then, so maybe things changed. But this Sal got killed at a christening. I don't know that they deliver mail on Sundays. That's just me. I don't know a christening that didn't happen on a Sunday. So my thing is, I don't know why nobody was suspicious that there was a guy delivering mail on a Sunday. That's just me. There was no other mail trucks out. He was there chilling. Like, nobody questioned that there was a mail truck out on a Sunday. It doesn't make sense to me. But he got the job done. You know what I'm saying? Killed a couple guards in the meanwhile and got away squeaky clean. So we'll see how that rolls, because, you know what I'm saying, obviously Stefano, whatever his name is, he gave Rock the job to do that because he can't do it because of their code, quote unquote. But then where does that leave, you know, Rock's team? You know, if people see him, who did it, things of that nature, won't get back, like, what happens? You know what I'm saying? All right, Howard. So we see Howard. We know Howard's greasy, slimy. He went up there, gave some heartfelt speech about Burke to try and get the heat off of him. But Burke's ex was there, and Burke had already gave the information to Shorty about, like, what's going on. Though she didn't take heed of it because she was really trying to just break up her, get out of there, because, you know, Burke had become so consumed with that aspect of her job. But now we see Burke's ex is pulling up around the captain, pulling up around here and there, trying to, you know, tell the real story, and nobody's trying to hear her out. But Howard knows that she knows, and she knows Howard knows that she knows at this point, because Howard peeps her moving, you know, trying to, you know, get her story off to the higher ups. With her snooping around, it doesn't make good news for Howard. And on top of that, they're bringing in the task force setting up at the precinct. Like, it's a lot. So Howard got to really dot his I's, cross his T's. That's why he's the one overlooking that file, making sure there's no dirt. He's trying to clean that up, close it up, move on. So we'll see how that goes. I'm assuming there's gonna be some dirt that comes out. The ex-girlfriend is gonna find a way to get some story out, and he's gonna have to answer some hard questions. Juke. All right, so one thing I noticed, Juke ain't smiled in like 2 seasons. I mean, probably 3 really. Like, Juke ain't smiled since Nicole died, and it's just been downhill since there. You know what I'm saying? She pops up at Burke's funeral service, which, I mean, I would have, you know what I'm saying, I would have rather her and Burke had the last, you know, words for each other rather than Juke just show up at her service. But, you know, I get what they were trying to do, connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? Make it known that, like, Burke meant something to her in some way. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't even show up to her mom's thing. But, you know, although she did grieve her in other ways, you know what I'm saying, and still is grieving her. But, yeah, this leads to the next scene where she's trying to enlist in the you know, military, you know, and wants to stop singing all of a sudden. But then gets hit with a, you know, opportunity from Nicole's dad, who I thought I'd never see again. Pops up with the audition for the girl group, and that leads to her, you know, ending up with Lou, and now she wants to sing again. Well, at least prepare to, you know, audition. So working with Lou, who, you know, Lou is quote unquote musically inclined. So that's Juke's story right now. I'm hoping there's some good that comes out of it. It probably won't be, because, you know, it's Juke, and Juke's story just hasn't had any positive aspect to it at all. But maybe this goes positive for Juke. We never know. Because I do think what's going to happen is, I'm foreshadowing here, I think they're going to see Juke's look and be like, alright, you could sing, but, like, you know what I'm saying, she can't, you could sing, but your look, we don't want that look in the girl group. You know what I'm saying? We need a more girly look. I think that's what's gonna happen. And either she's gonna get the gig and end up having to lip sync for somebody, or sing for somebody else who's lip syncing who has the look, or she's gonna, you know what I'm saying, not get the part because she doesn't have the look. I'm foreshadowing that ahead of time. Lou, you know, there's not much to say about Lou. He's crashing out. Anything to do with Rock, he's not involved in it. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, he met with Juke. Good on him to, you know, apologize to Juke, because Juke had that hit song and he gave it to Ziza, who, you know what I'm saying, was no Juke vocally, you know what I'm saying? And that's just foul to do to your family. That's crazy foul to do to your family, in my opinion. And he apologized, and, you know, him and Juke gonna work together. So I'm excited to see that, because like I said, I am interested in Juke's storyline, because I just want to see something, see her win. Right? I'm saying I see a W in her corner, at least one or two. You know what I'm saying? They've been sad all season. I feel like her face ain't changed since season 1, episode like 3. Last but not least, we want to focus on Ronnie. Ronnie hasn't done much yet, but we saw Ronnie. He came out with Juke. I mean, not Juke. I said Juke. With Unique to the club. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we already got the word from Unique Shorty that he ain't, you know, he a weirdo. Go out to the club with Neek. The bouncer giving him issues. He took a very offense to that. It was very offensive to him that happened. And with that the case, now he has an enemy. Now he has some way to pinpoint this built up anger he has been harboring inside of him since he's been locked up. You know what I'm saying? That he's out with Neek. Neek put the shorties on him. He want the shorties on him. Any dude that don't want the shorties on him that just came out, especially after you just came out, is a dude I don't want to be around. That's a nutcase. That's a nutcase. I don't want nothing to do with him. You just got out. I'm putting real baddies around you. You want nothing to do with them. You yelling at the baddies. I don't want. All right, cool. We out here. Ties. We gotta cut ties. Your mindset not where it need to be. And then he looking. You know what I'm saying? They caught that camera work with his eyes locking on the bouncer. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna find him. And obviously, we saw, if you watched the preview, we saw that the bouncer, that he does deal with the bouncer eventually. So Ronnie is waking up the Savage now that he's out. I just want to see how it gets there. But he's a wild dude, and I want to see, like I said, I want to see what they said he was. I want to see it. So that's where we're gonna end this. If you made it this far, by chance, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Hey, I don't know why you would watch a whole video and not like it. Why you wouldn't subscribe if you watch the whole video? That's just me. But anybody that does support and watch this far, I thank you. Love y'all, and catch y'all in the next video. Big dripper stand up in the ocean. Everybody trapping, we get lost. He ain't 4P.